and welcome to the next in my series of Inspiring the World Within Your Reach. My name is Emma Last and my company is Progressive Minds. And this wonderful lady to the side of me is the lovely Nicola Reekie. Have I said that right?
It's Reekie, but I do Reekie. But that's really funny. I do Reekie, so Reekie. Hi Emma, thank you. So yeah, I'm Nicola.
So yeah, you just introduce yourself. Yeah.
Sorry, Emma. So I'm Nicola Reekie. I'm a coach and support parents specifically whose children are on the autism spectrum and have something called pathological demand avoidance. And I'm at the moment running the Positive PDA Summit.
Fantastic. So you're on a massive mission then?
I am on a huge mission, and it's been inspired by lockdown. So something that I was holding a conference, and because of COVID, we've had to postpone it for a while. I, with the support of somebody else, decided we'd put on a 4-day summit, and we've got over 16 speakers. So we've got 4 to 5 webinars every day.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Really raising the awareness of PDA. So that's great. Okay, so shall we get started?
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so please could you share your story in relation to stress?
Yeah, of course. So those people who perhaps don't understand what pathological demand avoidance is, or autism per se, for years we had quite a lot of challenges at home and challenging behaviour with one of my children, and we were engaging with professionals and kept being told no, he wasn't, it was our parenting, it was this, it was that. And all through that, I was able to just keep my resilience going, partly due to the work I did, but partly I think just that as mums, I'm just keep holding on very hard, very tightly. Yeah. And then I was really fortunate, by a chance conversation with a girlfriend, I explained something and she mentioned PDA, which I then looked up. And ironically, fast forwarded, it was like later after we knew about it and we got a diagnosis, that I hit burnout. And I think it was, I'd held everything together for so long, and so I want to say well, but it wasn't. And because through all of that time, I knew, that one of my sons was on the spectrum, and I knew that there wasn't something right, and it wasn't our parenting, and it wasn't all the things that we were told it was. I think that burnout was like that fatigue for going for so long, as well as I think that real deep upset that I hadn't listened to myself. My core gut, which was made harder because we'd moved 150 miles. So we live in Wales now. And I think if we'd still been in London, where I'd had support from friends and old colleagues, it might have been easier. Whereas here, I didn't feel like I had that. And, and I hear from other families and parents, when you're constantly told it's you, it's your parenting, it's we don't see it, it takes its toll. And I think for me, that burnout of, I think just perhaps also a bit of, why didn't I fight and say, actually, no, there is. So it really hit me, and I just went really low for quite a few months. And the irony is the GP offered me medication, which I personally declined. As a holistic practitioner, it didn't really fit with my personal, and this is just my values and my beliefs, and I'm not ever saying that that's what other people have to do. And she felt so frustrated within the system of supporting us as a family. She sent me to the mental health team, who also went, "You're just overwhelmed. And if we had a magic stick, what would you need?" And I went, extra support at home, and they went, you aren't depressed, you don't need. But it took it took 6 months, 9 months, a year, to just, I stopped work. Well, initially my doctor signed me off work for a couple of months, and I stopped seeing clients. I changed the client group anyway, and I only went back and had one. I worked in supported housing, and I just kept one house, so I kept it very small. And treated myself like I treated clients.
Which sometimes is quite hard when you're juggling family life and work, isn't it? So you've obviously come out of the other end of that. Is there anything that you need to kind of be really careful with now? So kind of what tends to trigger your stress now?
Overwhelming, and just being careful, which is quite ironic because I'm holding the summit that's in 44 countries. Just being mindful of what I can achieve and not over pushing myself. And then this one's a massive armor. There's comparing despair. So not comparing myself to, say, like yourself or any other person, either in business or other mums, because I'm me, my situation's my situation, and that really sort of working hard at not comparing myself. And social media is a good one to be able to, you know, most of the time people put their best sides on social media. They're not, you know, very
of course
rarely,
they do.
Unless you're in the groups I'm in, people aren't going to say, well, actually this is happening. And so being mindful, and there is one particular social media platform that I can't go on because I find it too pretty and everybody's so wonderful. And like before I came on with you, because I've interviewed somebody for my summit, I could feel myself quite, so I just took 10 minutes and just did the breathing and really concentrated on my well-being before I did something else.
Good on you. So how would you say that your stress shows itself in you?
So I either get really chronic, sort of tight neck, shoulders, head, and headaches. But also I'm aware from working with another healer that my headaches sometimes are where I get blocks. So if I've got a block going on, but neck, shoulders, and also breathing. So that whole upper breathing, I'm like, ooh. So,
almost like you have to teach yourself to breathe again.
Remind myself a lot. A couple of months, about, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, at one point the summit was still in quite early days, and I was really a little bit like waking up, and then somebody said to me, but it's the first time you're going to be stressed and worried and actually a bit worrying if you weren't. And that, I think, hearing that, and I was just like, oh yeah. And now I'm very much at this moment very aware that what gets done gets done. Yes, it'd be wonderful to have had hours of contacting whoever, but it's being realistic of in life, doing what we can do. Yes, you know, it'd be wonderful that other things get done, but just being realistic.
I think it's really important, and a massive thing, self-awareness, isn't it? It's just having that, you know, real awareness of what you can do and what your kind of limitations are as well. You know, we're not all invincible.
No.
And sometimes what you used to do a few years ago is not necessarily what you can do now either. And it's just having that awareness and trying to spot those signs. So if you could give one tip and share one tip with whoever's listening today, what would you share with others? So what's helping you the most?
I mean, gratitude, but actually breathing, I mean, that sounds so daft because we breathe all the time. But that slowing your breathing down every time, you know, really breathing from your gut, from your stomach, and really slowing it down, and just really, you know, and noticing, because the moment you do that, I notice that my head calms down, everything slows down.
Yeah.
And, you know, I entwine it with, say, if I'm putting the kettle on, doing 3 really deep, slow breaths. So what I have learned is when I want to start a new habit, entwine it with something I already do, because then I'm more likely to
Good
do
idea.
it.
Yeah.
And you put the kettle on a couple of times a day. So it's like, right, just, and then that whole, with the breathing, it just relaxes your diaphragm. And then as that happens, everything just, but the biggest one that got me through the really dark moments, gratitude. Even if they were really small, of at the time of, well, I've got a house, we've got running water, we've got heating, we have enough food. Some days I can be really elaborate, and some days it can be really minimalist, of warm house, enough food, sanitation. Now where we've moved, greenery, I just love. We've got woods. Because it really helps with that resentment or the overwhelming. To be, gratitude makes such a difference. And it's free.
Yes, it is. Oh, thank you so much, Nicola. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, my kids get sick of it, but at Christmas, on Christmas Day, we all have to say a gratitude before we open a present.
Nice.
So that if there's that resentment of, oh, it's already in the mindset. That we've, you know, that whole change in our thought. Which I think is massive. And it's something that I think a lot of people don't quite perhaps get, but actually by just turning and looking at what we have got, of course there are times that life's challenge, and it's not saying that we don't acknowledge those feelings. I'm not saying that. However, by focusing on what we do have, does give us the opportunity to see things in a different light. And I have spoken with my girlfriend, who mentioned to me it's 4 years in December about PDA, and it's 3 years in October that I had that really chronic burnout. And I said to her, you know, God, could you, 4 years ago, would you imagine I would have been putting a summit on? And we just laughed. And I think that's the other thing, isn't it? When you're really in it and life's that thick of, it's feeling so black and dark and abysmal, we never know. And how I've really turned this challenges of a condition that's was barely heard of, to a positive of creating a business for myself, or changing my business, but creating and then creating the summit, which is going to hit so many people that perhaps wouldn't normally be able to go to a conference.
And you are really inspiring people within your reach, Nicola. So, you know, it's massive. I mean, I've done quite a lot of research around PDA since I've kind of met you, because you've sent me things, and just so that I can kind of understand, you know, more about it as well. So, yeah, thank you so much. And if anybody wants to learn more about how to cope with stress, and some strategies, and also how to feed your mind and how to be a bit kinder to yourself, we'll be covering that in my Stress to Strong challenge next week, and the link will be in the post above. So thank you ever so much, Nicola. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Bye.